he can and he will, and I love it, but he can't, and I hate it. Hello, gals, blokes, and all other folks. My name is Mortius, and welcome to the final video of 2023, Dan Vasc's Oh Holy Night. I can't think of a better finale to this year of Mortius content than Dan Vasc's Oh Holy Night. I have only checked out Dan Vasc twice on the channel so far, but both of them have been two of my favorite reactions that I've ever recorded, two of the most viewed reactions of this year, and just overall, it's been a really good thing for the channel, both with like my excitement and engagement toward it, all of your excitement and engagement towards the videos. Like, I love Dan, and I love his music, and I'm really, really excited to check this out. So yeah, this is the last video that I will be recording and releasing in 2023. So I just wanted to take a quick moment and say thank you all for being here this year, whether you have joined in previous years and stuck around all the way till now, or whether you were a newcomer in 2023. I really, really appreciate you being here, doing all the normal YouTube stuff, supporting, subscribing, always leaving your amazing comments, everything like that. I've got some super fun plans for 2024, and I'm really excited to keep bringing everybody content. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you to everyone who joined the channel because of Dan. And yeah, without any further ado, let's hop right on in to Dan Vasc's Oh Holy Night. I'm so excited. Let's do this. Here we go. Okay, we're starting real fast with this one. That's so funny. I was actually just about to ask who was pianoing. Okay, cool. Victor the Guitar Nerd. I don't think I know who Victor the Guitar Nerd is. I don't know if I've heard that name before, but I will have to check it out after this.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
Wow, all right, cool. I already want to mention a couple things. First of all, shy. He has such an interesting tonality with shy. It's like clear. It's like, it's forward without being nasally. It's very hard to, like, there's like very far back singing, and then you can kind of bring it forward, but then it gets nasally at the end. You hear that kind of difference as I go through. He's doing a really good job of going just as far forward as he can be without it really entering the nose and getting that nasal tonality. And it's like, it's not shining. It's not opera with like really shy. It's not like that. Shy, but not it's very treading that line in a really good way. And also, it is the night. I always love pointing out how different notes can sound, because wherever his natural register lays, like I can go, it is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Like, for me, that's already getting low. For him, that still sounds high. And some people might be like, are those even the same note, or are you like in a different octave? No, I just re-listened to double check. That's the exact same note, but it sounds so much higher from his voice.
It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
He has such good like resonance and tonality to that.
Only the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared, and the soul felt its worth.
Listen to that.
felt its worth.
I'm gonna have to go an octave up because that note, as we just established, was low for me, but who felt its worth? Like the little bit of that he adds to his voice there to give it a little bit of like, a little bit of shape, a little bit of like energy there. Ooh.
And the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoice.
Ooh.
Of hope, the weary world rejoice.
Weary world, rejoice. That's so cool. Weary world. Like the way he like softly and quickly hits that.
Of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn.
I knew it. I could feel like the way that they were choosing to build up. I knew. I was even thinking to myself, I'm like, Dan Vasc is so good at like starting simple, like when he did Amazing Grace, like starting simple and then building up from there. But
New and glorious morn.
I could just tell the way the energy in the background and the sound of his voice were both building that it was probably going to be in just a couple lines that we started to get that transition from that like crystal clarity over to Dan Vasc's signature style, and I was so right. Which is cool because like it makes me feel good as an audience member of like, hey, I predicted that. But it also is really impressive from the perspective of Dan and Victor that they were able to convey that musically in a way that what they did makes sense. You can do the coolest thing in the world in a music or a piece of art, and if you haven't laid the groundwork for it, it won't hit as well. So the fact that they're transitioning into this in a way that lays the groundwork perfectly and creates a smooth transition from one vibe to a new vibe is very impressive from an arrangement standpoint.
The weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks.
Hear him getting a little bit louder? Just a little bit there. For yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Like each word is just a little bit louder and a little bit less breathy and more chesty than the last as he's building towards this. And then right as we get that morn, which is like the most chest and resonant that we've gotten so far, right as we get to that point, we have Victor coming with a down, down, down to actually lead us in. That's a sick transition.
A new and glorious morn.
And then we get that Dan sound. Yes.
Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night.
I've mentioned this, I don't remember if it was Amazing Grace or if it was Make a Man Out of You, but I mentioned in a previous video how impressed I am about Dan's vowels. Listen to divine. Again, it would be so easy for a lot of, like, night, divine. Diva. I'm making a va sound. If I was performing this, I would go night divine and then add that E sound at the end. That's sort of like I, because I is a complicated vowel. If you say I really slow, it goes I. It's actually, the vowel I is not its own mouth shape. It is the transition from ah to E. It's I. You know what I mean? So, because of that, it's hard to sing right on that I sound. You know? It's very hard to sing there, which is why, again, if I was doing this, divine is how I would sing it. You know what I mean? But he exists in that transition. He exists right on the actual I. Listen to this. Night divine, which, as you can hear, I can't do without it sounding squishy. That's not fun to listen to. You're probably sitting there like, ew, that doesn't sound good. And it doesn't coming from my voice. I can't do the I sound. Divine. I can't do that without it sounding very squeezed, almost a little bit nasally. He's so good, which is why if I was doing it, I would be reverting to that ah sound. He's so good at creating and maintaining vowels that are so hard to sing, including I. Now that I've really ranted about that, listen to this one more time.
Angel voices, oh, night.
How does he sound that good with an I?
When Christ was born.
That's so impressive. And this is a song with night, divine, oh night, when Christ. Like, this is a song with a lot of I's. So, like, it's really cool that he's able to do that so much. I won't keep harping on the vowels. It's just, if you're not a singer, you really don't, I don't want to be like, if you're a singer, you don't get it. But just like, really, if you haven't sung a song with a lot of I sounds before or a lot of other weird vowels, you really just can't understand how impressive it is that he's able to maintain those vowels like that. It's really cool. Okay, nope, I need that transition one more time. I need to let that play through. God, it's so good! Oh. Cool, loving the guitar solo. Yeah, take it away, Victor, alright. Oh, okay. I was really expecting that to transition into, his, like style that he does, but way grittier than that, because I'm not a metalhead at all. It was definitely not voice. Interesting that they did that crazy riff and then he took it back. It makes me really curious. Like, what is he saving it for? What is he building up to that he would need this much build before he hits it? Oh, I'm so excited.
His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break.
Wow!
His love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother. And in his
there it is! There it is! I was wondering when it was coming. Alright, let me get this whole...
Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother. And in his name all oppression transcends. Sweet hymns of joy.
He can and he will and I love it, but he can't. And I hate it. I feel like that's gonna make a really good cold open. God. Okay, here, I can actually talk. So, the higher you get and the more energy you put into it, the harder it is for some of those vowels to actually work the way I was talking about. So this just goes to show that all of everything I was talking about and how talented he is to do that I sound. Even here, listen to cease. He does not say cease, he says cease. Because when he's that high, even with how talented he is, that E would be really hard to accomplish. Like you can't do E that high with that much breath. So he says, cease! You know what I mean? So yeah, it's really cool. Oh, yes! Yes! Dude. Whoo. And I think I was just holding my breath for that entire final section and not even realizing it. Oh my gosh. Man. Oh, that ending was exceptional. There were actually some parts in the last minute or so that I was almost not the biggest fan of, not because they weren't all good, but because it felt like this one almost jumped a little bit too much at points. It's like da 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 da. I was like, what? Where did that come from? I feel like in Amazing Grace, it felt like much more of a sliding scale. Like each part was a little bit more in that intensity than the last. This one felt a little bit more like a roller coaster, and it was almost taking away from it a little bit. It felt slightly more gimmicky at first, but then those final 30 seconds made up for it and then some. That whole final section was absolutely exceptional and was exactly what I was hoping the whole song was building to the whole time. I also noticed some things about the vowels in the end, but you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about vowels, so I'm only going to do it very briefly. But listen to Vine! Exactly what I was talking about earlier. Now that he's up higher, he has to revert to that Vine that I was discussing earlier as what most people would have had to do even at the earlier ones. So it shows that when he's down in that lower range, he has enough control to do vowels in a different way, but once he gets up here, he goes to the more classical strategy of turning I into ah, which is just really cool. Okay, that's actually all I'm going to say about vowels. Holy cow, yeah. I do definitely think that of the three I've reacted to, this was probably my, I want to say least favorite, because I'm saying, when I say that this is my least favorite, I mean this is a 9 and the other two were a 10. Saying least favorite sounds like it has a negative connotation, but it's more of a compliment to the other two I checked out than it is an insult to this one. This is still a 9 out of 10, but I feel like just the sort of tonal jumps we had there just felt, like I said, it just took away from it just a little bit for me. Not enough to actually fully negatively impact the whole performance. There's just a few parts where I was like, oh, we kind of jumped and then we jumped back. It didn't feel like it was building an intensity to one cohesive piece. And again, as I always say, music is so subjective. That could just be because I loved Amazing Grace so much that I wanted that style again. And maybe Dan doesn't want to repeat himself. Maybe in his mind, he's like, I already did that slow, steady, perfect build with Amazing Grace. For this one, I want to hit the intensity and then scale it back, and then hit the intensity and then scale it back. And I, as me, not as an objective musical opinion, but I, as Mortius, don't like that as much. And that does not mean it is an invalid approach. I really loved Amazing Grace. I loved his Amazing Grace. And so I think I was hoping for more of that. So then maybe I just set myself up for like a little bit of disappointment. But again, only a little bit, because I would still rate this whole thing an easy 9 out of 10. It's just that, you know, Make a Man Out of You was a 10 and Amazing Grace was a 10.5. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know Dan actually watched my Amazing Grace, so if you happen to watch this one and watch it all the way to the end, hi Dan, you're amazing. I appreciate the work you do. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the end, please make sure that you're, liking the video, everything like that. Check me out on Patreon. Thank you to all my patrons for making videos like this possible. We've got lots of cool stuff coming in 2024. And as always, gals, blokes, and all other folks, I will see you in the next video. Bye!